True story. I wrote Welch's Fruit Snacks a letter while I was incarcerated. When I first got locked up, I was in the county jail. And I was in county with a broke leg because of the car accident I was in. And I was in confinement on two different occasions. And I was in confinement at one point for 3 months. And because I was on the medical wing with a broken leg, they don't allow any canteen, no extra food besides the trays, the 3 trays a day that they give you. And the reason why is because there's diabetics on the floor and they try to control their intake of, what they eat. And especially in confinement, you don't get no food. But there was a check-in across the hall from me. And if you don't know what a check-in is, he's protective custody. He was removed from general population for safety. So they're allowed food. So while I'm talking to this guy on the glass, I convince him to allow me to put $25 on his books so I can order some food. Because I haven't had food, like any canteen, the whole time I've been in the county jail these 5 months while I just got sentenced to 9 years. And I'm waiting to go to prison. So I'm really fiending for candy, man. I just want sweets. I got a sweet tooth. So I remember when I'm going over his canteen list, I see Welch's Fruit Snacks. I'm like, man, these are gas, man. I'm going to go ahead and order me about $10 just in Welch's Fruit Snacks. And a week goes by, I get my stuff, I shoot my fishing line over to his cell and, he puts all my food, one by one in the canteen bag and I'm, pulling it back over to my cell. And I finally got all this, candy and these sweets that I ordered from him. And I'm sitting back and whenever I got to the Welch, I think that was probably the first item that I bust down. And I remember I'm just laying back on my bunk and I'm just smashing these Welch's Fruit Snacks. And I'm just cherishing them. I'm savoring every piece. I'm like, man, these are so good, man. I love Welch's Fruit Snacks. So I'm looking at the pack, just being bored too, and I'm just reading the ingredients. And I think somewhere on there it mentioned the city and state of the Welch's Fruit Snacks factory. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so bored. I'm like, I'm gonna write Welch's a letter. And no lie, I actually got up, I got my pen and paper, and I wrote Welch's a letter. And I let them know that it was a crazy letter. I'm not going to get into details of what I was writing. But I was just saying that I was a fan of their brand. And I ultimately asked for a care package that they could, that they would send to my mother's house, a care package of all Welch's supplies, and whether it be fruit snacks, their drinks, whatever. I was just seeing if it would work. But the whole point that I'm getting at, and the reason why I'm mentioning this, is I only cherished Welch's Fruit Snacks when I was starving, man. And I remember that to this day, to where years later, at the end of that 9-year bid, obviously doing 85% on a 9-piece, I'm doing 7 and some change, 7 years, 8 months. And as I'm about to get out now, eating Welch's Fruit Snacks, I can always remember that moment in my life and I laugh about it. But I take the initiative now to be thankful, and I still sit back and savor every piece, and I cherish them. But the reason why I say that is because I encourage and I challenge you today, man. Don't take for granted the blessings of God in your life. And it's easy to do, but I just encourage you today, man, to take the initiative to sit back and the little things that we can so often overlook, whether it be a good meal, but most importantly, just that time that you have with your children, that time that you have with your wife or husband or your friends, just to be able to walk outside and just to drive anywhere you want, to cherish your freedom. Man, truly take the time today to sit back and to thank God for everything that He's blessed you with, man.